I think a lot of people talk about how to handle romantic breakup, but as an asexual and probably a romantic person, I put a lot into my friendships and have been through a couple friendship breakups in my time. And I thought there has to be tons of advice on how to get over platonic or friendship breakups. And when I looked into this, there's actually just very little. Y'all, it's so bad how little information there actually is on friendship breakups out there, which is really weird to me because not everyone goes through a romantic breakup, but I feel like everyone has that one friend that they don't talk to anymore and they're like, damn, that sucked. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about just some of the things that have helped me personally get over friend breakups or just friends that I don't talk to anymore, in hopes that it helps someone out there who is going through the same thing. Before we get into this video, I just want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers by Pride Month, and we are 4,000 away, so every single one of you counts. Let's try to make that goal by Pride to help this little queer content creator out, and let's get into the video. So the first thing that I think really has helped me through these kind of situations is allowing myself to feel the feelings. Just like anything else, it's really important to feel what you're experiencing. Especially when it comes to platonic breakups, it's good to let yourself grieve the relationship that you just lost. Just allow yourself to be sad, angry, upset, or whatever emotions are coming up for you. Bottling up your feelings is only going to prolong this process further. I know that for me, it was one of the things that I put off the most. I don't like feeling my feelings. And then it's like years later and I'm thinking about it and I just start crying and I'm like, I thought I already processed this. I thought I was already okay with what happened. Why am I not over this? But that's okay. Which actually brings me to my second thing that has really helped me with friend breakups, and that is it's okay to reflect on what happened. Honestly, I think this is one of the most important things to do when you're going through a friend breakup or a platonic breakup, especially because I don't think it's something that's necessarily talked about when it comes to friends, which is really weird to me because when people give you advice about getting over romantic relationships, everyone is like, oh, be sure to reflect on your time together so you don't do what you did in that relationship with your next relationship. And personally, I think that can be said for friendship or platonic relationships as well. Being able to sit back and reflect on the situation, what happened, what went right, what went wrong, what you learned about yourself because of the friendship that you had, and how you will treat new people in your life is so crucial. For me personally, I think some of the most growing and healing times in my life is from my friendship. Whether I'm still friends with those people or the friendship didn't last, I'm able to see the parts of myself in my friends that I love, that frustrate me, that make me sad, the joy that I have. All of these things that I see in my friends, I'm able to see in myself. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. I've personally never met someone that I've had the pleasure of getting to know on a platonic level that I've regretted, even if the relationship isn't there or it's not the same anymore. I get to have the opportunity to reflect on my own actions and take responsibility for my choices and see how I can be better. Even now, years later, I'll think about the people that I knew and smile or laugh or cry over stuff, and that's okay. It's okay to look back and reflect on what happened, your choices, their choices, see what can be done differently for the next time. And I personally think that's a really healthy thing to do just in general. I think the next thing that people kind of forget about when it comes to platonic breakups is focusing on self-care again. Self-care is super important just in general. However, when you have that loss of a relationship, it's very important to go back to yourself and ground yourself. So this can look a little bit different for everyone. However, some examples of things you can do for self-care are finding new hobbies, going back to old hobbies, going out to new places, looking into local groups and trying to find that community again, spa days, connecting with your other friends and family. And listen, I know it can be hard to go do some of these things, especially if that was something that you used to do with the person that you're grieving the relationship of. But taking time for yourself is important, and it doesn't make you selfish. And it's definitely something that's needed in these kind of situations. The next thing that I think is really important when it comes to friendship breakups is reaching out to a support system. I know I just touched on this a little bit before, but I kind of wanted to go in depth a little bit more with it. Reaching out to the people who are still in your life can really help you not feel alone when you're grieving a loss of a relationship. This can look like other friends, family members, classmates, even coworkers that you want to get to know more and hang out with, even potentially a therapist to talk about the situation. All of the other people in your life that you have connections with are a great way to remind yourself that you're not alone in this. I personally think my favorite piece of advice I've ever gotten is you've never met all the people you'll ever meet in your life. And I think the reason why I love this so much is because it just helps remind me that even though I'm upset with the loss of this friendship or not talking to this specific person anymore, it doesn't mean that my potential to have other types of connections or friendships is over. And I haven't met everyone I'm going to meet in my life yet until I'm, dead. And I think it also just reminds me that there's so much time to meet more amazing, incredible, loving people that I can also show love and be incredible to. Just because this friendship didn't work out doesn't mean the next great one isn't around the corner. And I really do think it's important to remind yourself that not every friendship is meant to last a lifetime. Sometimes people come into your life to teach you things or show you things about yourself or what you do or don't want in your life. And when it's over, it's okay to let it go. And the very last thing I kind of want to touch on when going through a friend breakup or a platonic breakup is setting new boundaries. And I think this might be the most important one, especially if the friendship wasn't the healthiest. Now, it's always good to set boundaries in any kind of relationship, but I really do feel like people forget about talking about boundary setting when it comes to friends and your platonic relationships, mostly because they don't see them as important as familial relationships or romantic relationships, which is so dumb because I feel like a lot of people pour a lot into their friendships. I know personally that I've been toxic in a friendship when it comes to that other person's perspective, and honestly that taught me so much about myself. I've really been able to grow from those experiences and change how I go about new friendships in much healthier ways, which is why it's good to not only set boundaries with other people or new friends in your life, but it's also good to set boundaries with yourself. I also think this definitely goes back to reflecting on the situation and seeing where both parties went right or wrong, which I know is really hard to do because no one ever really wants to admit when they're wrong or that you've hurt someone in the way that you might have, but it does take two people to have a friendship. So I always think it's healthy to really look at the situation, what happened, and see where boundaries were kind of needed on both sides. Having self-accountability can be really hard and a really painful thing to do, but setting up healthy boundaries can really help in not making similar mistakes, whether that's a mistake that you made or picking similar people in the future to be friends with that it's a hard time to keep those boundaries with. Also remember that yes, there are times when one person is fully at fault, which again goes back to toxicity and all of that kind of stuff. But I genuinely do think it is important to look at situations and be like, how can I do better? Or how can I make sure that that doesn't happen again, or I don't fall into similar patterns with people? Because I definitely know for any people pleaser out there, it's a really easy thing to do. So setting boundaries with other people as well as yourself is definitely a very, very important thing when it comes to platonic relationships. That way the other person doesn't get hurt and you also don't get hurt, and then you're picking more compatible people to be friends with. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below what has helped you through a friend breakup. I really do hope some of these have helped anyone going through this situation. It genuinely is something that's really hard and really painful to go through. And trust me, I've had my fair share, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. Like I said, as someone who is ace and potentially aromantic, somewhere on that spectrum, I put a lot into my friendships, so it's really hard when those don't work out. So I definitely know where you're coming from. So yeah, I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.